Welcome to Girls Gone Hallmark, a Hallmark review podcast that has taken a sharp left turn into the world of PBS Masterpiece. I'm Megan, and I'm a longtime Hallmark fan.
I'm Wendy. I'm a former Hallmark hater and a new PBS lover.
Who would have seen that one coming? On today's episode, we are discussing the PBS Masterpiece series, The Forsytes, episode 1.
It has no title.
No, neither does the next episode.
I know.
Originally aired on PBS on Sunday, March 22nd. It is currently available to stream on pbs.org or on the PBS Passport app. If you're wondering what's going on here, we invite you to follow us on Instagram, where we are Girls Gone Hallmark. That's where you can find out the latest from us. But another great resource for you is girlsgonehallmark.com. Detailed episode show notes for every podcast episode live there, but there is a ton of additional content about Hallmark and about these PBS series that we are watching over there.
Yeah, it was Instagram where I saw the promotion for the Forsytes, and I was like, I wonder if our listeners would be into that. And I'm telling you, they came through.
They really did. And they also told us that The Forsytes has already been renewed for seasons 2 and 3. We may be in this for the long haul.
Oh, no. It's going to be 10 seasons later. We're going to be like, here we are.
We're reviewing The Count of Monte Cristo as well. Those episodes drop on Thursday. So if you haven't listened to those, go give those a listen. That's an excellent series. But that was Wendy's first PBS series. And then when we went into The Forsytes, it's a different vibe. Similar in some ways, like we're still in the 19th century. It's still a period piece. All of this, it's still very PBS Masterpiece-y. But I'm a big fan of Downton Abbey. And this is different in some ways, in a lot of ways, than Downton Abbey. I'm super curious. Email us, hello@girlsgonehallmark.com. I'm not objective in this case. If you think Wendy would like Downton Abbey based on what she has to say about this episode today.
Megan is really pushing for
I don't want to review it.
Rewind.
There's too much content. I'm just curious what people think, if they think you would like it.
Is that going to be my new throw-on show?
You can't throw on Downton Abbey. You need to pay attention.
Okay.
You need to be traumatized by it all.
Well, I'm really interested too. I'm interested in your feedback, Megan, after my reaction to this, as well as the listeners, if I should give Downton Abbey a chance.
Well, let's hear a synopsis for episode 1 of The Forsytes.
Before I dive in, I just want to say that on IMDb, the synopsis was incorrect. And so I had to fix it. I didn't fix it on IMDb. I fixed it for our retelling of it.
Got it.
The Forsytes prepare to celebrate June's 18th birthday and her formal entrance into society. But Julian Sr. delivers a shocking announcement at the party while Frances uncovers a distressing secret.
The Forsytes was written and created for television by Debbie Horsfield. Debbie is a writer and producer known for her previous work on Sanctuary, A Witch's Tale, and Poldark. This series was inspired by the Forsyte Saga novels by John Galsworthy.
This episode was directed by Meena Gwar. She's a British Indian filmmaker with 7 previous directing credits. She will go on to direct episodes 2 and 3.
Francesca Annis stars as Anne Forsyte. She has 114 acting credits spanning 7 decades in film, television, and theater. Among her many acting credits is the film Dune from 1984.
Danny Griffin stars as Julian Forsyte Jr. He has just 10 previous acting credits, but Hallmark fans take note, he did appear in the 2024 movie Gilded Newport Mysteries: Murder at the Breakers.
Interesting. Tuppence Middleton stars as Frances Forsyte. Tuppence has 57 acting credits, and you might recognize her from the Netflix series Sense8. She also appeared as Lucy Smith in Downton Abbey and Downton Abbey: A New Era.
Do you remember her?
No, I don't know who Lucy Smith is. There's a lot of characters. Who's Lucy Smith in Downton Abbey?
Yeah, she was Lucy Smith in the first project, and then she had a different last name in the second project.
Oh, I know who she is.
Okay. Justine Emma Moore appears as teenage June Forsyte. This is her 8th acting credit and has appeared in Call the Midwife and the miniseries Without Sin.
Eleanor Tomlinson stars as Louisa Byrne. Eleanor has 34 acting credits with roles in The Outlaws and Poldark.
Stephen Moyer plays Julian Forsytes Sr. Stephen's best known for his role as Bill on the series True Blood, where he appeared in over 80 episodes. Most recently, he's appeared on The Night Agent as well as the series Elsbeth.
Joshua Orpin stars as Soames Forsyte. Joshua has 14 previous acting credits, including the HBO series Titans and the 2025 remake of I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Jack Davenport plays Soames's dad, James. Jack has 74 acting credits with projects like the recent All's Fair on Hulu, Elsbeth, and the series Why Women Kill.
Naomi Frederick plays Soames' mom, Emily Forsyte, with 25 acting credits. She's also appeared on HBO's Industry.
Millie Gibson plays Irene Heron. Her previous work includes Doctor Who and 172 episodes of the British soap opera Coronation Street.
Fiona Button plays Clarissa Heron. With 29 acting credits, she is known for her roles on The Split and the HBO series Industry.
There's a lot of crossover.
Yeah.
Tons of crossover. Tristan Sturrock appears briefly as Professor Heron. He has 44 acting credits with roles in Industry and Poldark.
Eleanor Jackson plays Soames' sister, Winifred Darty. This is her 7th acting credit and largest role to date.
Tom Durant Pritchard plays Montague Darty. Tom has appeared in The Crown and The Windsors.
Susan Hampshire appears as Lady Carteret. Susan starred in the original 1967 BBC The Forsyte Saga and won the first of her 3 Emmy Awards for that role.
Owen Egahan appears as Isaac. This is just his 2nd acting credit.
We're going to take a quick break and we're going to come right back with our first impressions. Hey, Wendy, what was your first impression of The Forsytes, episode 1?
You know I love a bad boy. Soames Hive, rise up.
I'm just picturing the Instagram images.
Awesome.
My first impression is no one told me I would need to hydrate before watching this series. Secret twins in episode 1. Who saw that coming? Which is the answer to which is probably everyone who is not new to the Forsyte saga, but not me.
I love this series. I am telling you, I love it so far.
Oh my gosh. It is rapid fire. Let me tell you right now, the difference between this show and Downton Abbey is like, here's a little bit of drama, and now we're going to sit with it and process it. And this is like, boom, 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 boom. We are not wasting 1 second of time here.
That is so interesting that you say that. I will have more to discuss when we talk episode 2. Here's what I liked. This show is giving like rich people making, well, actually rich people behaving badly. I love it, but also like make it beautiful. Like it's so pleasing to look at. Everything from like the costuming to the sets, the houses, like I love all of it. Can you believe I'm saying that?
Look, it's the Real Housewives set almost 200 years ago.
100%. I love it. Except they don't like have screaming fights with each other. You know, everything's very
No, but they're real shady.
totally.
Yeah.
That's why I find it so kind of tantalizing.
When the Soames side of the family is gossiping about their next door family, you're like, I love it.
Yes. 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 I want to give credit to a friend of the show, Georgia. She is a TV writer. She had explained that this show is Succession meets The Gilded Age. And for someone who watched Succession, but not The Gilded Age, because I was like, I'm not watching that period piece, it is totally Succession.
For sure.
It's a great example, like a great
I've only seen a few
analogy.
episodes of Succession, but I'm very familiar with the premise. And yeah, all the fighting for power within the family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, like I mentioned, I found this episode was a little bit exhausting. Like they throw a lot of information at you. Like I feel like you
Totally.
kind of need to be paying attention to get it. And I enjoy that. Like, do you remember when Netflix is like, yo, writers, dumb it down because people are watching with their phones in their hand. And I like that this show is like, we're not going to do that. Pay attention or GTFO, right? So the opening wedding sequence sets the scene so nicely. We have our voiceover from grandmama, but it really sets up like the family dynamic. And it does such a nice job of setting the scene and who's on whose side. And we have this wedding and we have this daughter, and cut to the reception. And we build that relationship right there with Joe and June. When she's like, do I have to like you? He's like, nope.
Yeah.
And she's like, good, because I don't like anybody. And I was like, girl, same.
Totally. I was like, I feel you, June. That I put that on a t-shirt. I don't like anybody.
And then they kind of come together when the grandmother's like, look, be seen and not heard. Like, don't make waves. And, you know, Joe reaches out and takes their hand. And like, you see right there, like there's that little connection. And fast forward 10 years and they still have that. I liked it.
Me too. Same. Like you said, there's so much happening. We have like, it's not inheritance. I have in my notes, it says inheritance, but it's like who's running the business, tension, secret children, strategic marriages. You know, it feels like everybody is plotting something, but it's also like this quiet betrayal and scandal. I'm totally locked in on it. I love that you likened it to Real Housewives 200 years ago. Yes. I'm also in this first episode kind of unsure of who to root for.
Oh.
You know, I am a Soames fan.
That's so interesting.
It's the bad boy. The bad boy.
Team Joe.
I just don't know where I land totally. And I kind of love that confusing because we have Joe who's like artistic and emotional and, you know, maybe kind of the renegade of the family that's being pushed into this, like, you are supposed to be this person.
Yeah.
You know, at some point he was like, they're like, all right, come back from your sabbatical and you gotta like do the family business thing and marry this woman and et cetera, right? And Soames, who's like a little more ambitious, kind of toxic, calculated, you know, I'm drawn to that, obviously. But I can see like Soames is the bad boy and Joe is probably the good guy, but I like both of them, you know, so this makes it fun. It makes it a fun watch.
Soames will grow on me, but in this episode, I don't necessarily for me personally, I don't necessarily love a troublemaker. And there's something about Joe who is doing the right thing and not really complaining about it. At that wedding, we hear that was a planned wedding. Like, she was chosen for a reason. But when he turns around and looks at her, they both smile at each other and it feels like, oh, this is okay. And we see them fast forward and they seem to have a relationship. They seem to have genuine affection for each other. And obviously we will learn some things. But I'm like, look, he's not just going through the motions. At least it doesn't look that way from the outside. Like, he seems to be treating his family and his job with reverence. And so I'm like, it's not like you made me come home and now I'm just going to check the boxes. He seems to be doing it. He seems to be behaving like a good husband. And at work, he's behaving thoughtfully and he has real opinions about the things that they're doing, even though they're different than a lot of the other opinions people are having at work. To me, I'm like, he's doing it faithfully is my point here.
Yes, I agree.
So I'm enjoying Julian. Can we talk about the Forsyte Co. for a second? The job?
Sure. Yeah.
When they introduced that mining stock plot, they're like, oh, it's going to be taken over. And I was like, okay, what's going on here? And then it comes back around. And it's so nice because it's like it's a vehicle that kind of cements the rivalry between the way Joe and Soames want to do things and Soames going behind Joe's back to make that decision that ultimately leads to the ruin of Irene's family and Soam's interest in it. Like the way they tie that in, really nicely done. Nice
Agree.
piece of writing and plot work.
Can we talk about Joe boxing shirtless?
I mean, all day long.
I was like, PBS is like, we're going to keep it classy, but we'll give you a little bit of something here. And I didn't hate it. I was like, it made it sexy without being like gratuitous, you know?
Sure.
I enjoyed it. A couple of other little things that I like. The introduction of Louisa as the dressmaker, immediate intrigue because she clocks who the Forsytes are, like when she comes in. And I'm like, what's the relationship here? What's the secret? What's happening? I loved all of that. But then when we get the big old bombshell, well, actually, let me back that up. When we have the reunion between Joe and Louisa at June's party,
Yes.
you know, I mean, I was like, okay, this is interesting. But then we see Frances noticing in the background.
Yes.
And then Frances confronts her. And then the bombshell of, here are my two children, and this kid's name is Joe. I was like, holy crap balls.
Well, that's what I mean about this show. Like, I think most shows might have made us wait for all of that information. Like, we may not have gotten the reveal of who Joe was to Louisa and who her children, like when the children come out, I'm like, oh my gosh, they're twins, right? And so, and I'm like, and let me guess, they're 10 years old. When I talk about the way that Joe looks at Frances, I was like, there seems to be real affection there. But when he sees Louisa,
yes, man.
I was like, oh, that's his girl. Like, great acting on the part of Danny Griffin, because the difference in his facial reactions to the two women is so striking. And I was like, oh, he loves her. And isn't subtle about it.
Right.
Like, he's in a room full of people. The other family clocked him talking
I know. I'm like, keep it on the down low, dude.
Yes. I mean, obviously his wife sees her, but I really love that they just hit us with all of this information, because obviously the rest of the season is likely going to be the fallout from what has come. Yeah. So I'm glad we got to see all of that, everyone having the reveal in this first episode.
Right. Right. The last thing I really liked is this time period makes me deeply uncomfortable. Mostly related to like the social climbing and the transactional marriages, and that women are kind of like currency a little bit, you know, like marrying this person for this status, and like it gives me like the super ick, but it lends itself to understanding what's happening.
You know, if I may, the whole premise of Downton Abbey starts with they only have daughters and daughters cannot inherit. And so the eldest daughter has to marry someone who can inherit the family fortune.
Oh.
It's the whole thing. Anyway, I agree with you. And I find Soames' side of the family to be particularly egregious because Soames' father is the younger brother, right? He doesn't have as much power or prestige. Yeah. And so they're just like fighting for it, especially the mom. What's her name?
Emily.
Yes. She behaves in such a, I don't want to use the word gross, but her behavior is kind of gross. She's like, oh, what are we going to get? Like, who are we going to get for our little Somesy? And I just am like, oh my gosh, you people, I agree with you. It's kind of icky. It's like, how are we going to elevate our station in life? And the way in which Frances uses June, she's like, oh, well, I invited this family and this family and this family. And Grandma's like, and why might you have done that? And I'm just like, gross. This is your child and you're using her as a pawn. And I've watched enough of these shows to know that's exactly how it worked, but it's gross.
Yeah, agree.
You mentioned the cinematography. The ballet sequence was especially beautiful to me. The lighting, the way her hair is down and flowing, the dress that the ballet dress. I mean, it's not a tutu, really. It's stunningly beautiful.
I know. I can't get past. I'm like, ballerinas should have their hair up in buns. Why is her hair down and free flowing as she's dancing around? I mean,
I agree. And that flows into one of my wishes, if you're ready.
Oh, I am ready.
There are some anachronisms in this series.
Tell me more.
So The hair is all wrong across the board.
Really?
Women do not wear their hair down in public.
Ever?
No, their hair is up. Your hair would not be down like that. Now, is Irene's hair gorgeous? Yes. And I think it's in the second episode where she's dancing with other dancers. The other dancers have their hair up and hers is, I'm like, no dancer has their hair down and flowing. I understand her curls are beautiful, but all these women have their hair down. No, their hair would be up. The men would wear hats outside. Also, Joe's hair, way too boy bandy, fully outside of the realm of reality, the facial hair. Now, do I like it? I do. But much like Bridgerton plays with this a little bit, I know you haven't seen Bridgerton, but there's a lot of people of color in the mix, which would not have been the case. There's a lot that they're doing there as well, just to make it more visually interesting and fun to watch. I don't care. I'm not like, I can't believe they were unfaithful to this. There are a lot of people out there, hop on Reddit, they're big mad about some of the ways that the hair does not match the time. To me, I'm like, it's okay. They don't always need to be in a freaking hat. But I like the long hair. Must be exhausting to be pinning it up every morning and letting it down every night. But it is worth noting.
How do you know this? Is this from your years of watching Downton Abbey or?
Yeah, just the internet.
Okay. My hang up with Joe's look is the beard because we see him in his time in Venice and he's got like this long curly hair, right? Which is great. That gives me a visual cue in time, but he's still got the same beard. And then he's got that beard when he gets married. And then he's got that beard 10 years later. I'm like, come on.
Is that the thing he couldn't let go of?
Oh, that's
Of
interesting.
his former self. Or is it just that he looks real good with a beard?
Yeah, maybe. And you're right. His hair is real coiffed. I don't hate it.
No,
Good
it looks
looking
great.
dude. Yeah, but just I need a touch more clarity on timeline, especially when we're going back so many years. Make the man look slightly different. Anyway, my next wish is in regards to the business side of things, the family firm. I just need a little bit more about what's at stake with the company. I don't know exactly what they do. Stocks? Are they traders?
But I don't know.
Brokers?
I don't know what that. I'm going to be honest. I don't really fully know what stockbrokers do other than you have a portfolio of clients and you make sure that their portfolios, they own the right stuff, right? When they sold off all that mining stock so that because people were going to lose confidence once the new guy took over, none of that makes any sense to me.
Yeah.
How the stock market works.
And I would like to know, historically, obviously this is a family business. How did the two older brothers, James and Joe, how did they get there? Was it inherited? Is this their business? Was it their father's business? Give me some details.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just need to know the investment that we're dealing with here. In terms of succession, that was that father's multi-billionaire business and the kids were part of it and they were going to inherit it, or one of the kids was going to inherit. You know what I mean? It's the same sort of thing, but give it a little bit more weight. So I'm understanding that.
Correct. I hear you.
If you skipped through our news and notes, the cast breakdown, I don't blame you because there's a lot of players here, a lot of people. And the amount of work that I had to do to go back and be okay, who is this person? How are they related? Who is this person? How are they related?
Yeah.
I need a Venn diagram.
Yeah. There is a Meet the Cast page on PBS. Did you see that?
I didn't.
And it's a little bit helpful because I have to admit that as I was watching this show, it's the Forsytes, the definitive character guide. As I was watching this, I was like, wait a minute. What's Soames' mom's name? What's Soames' dad's? And I was like, who are these people? They introduce so many of them, and then they kind of almost backwards engineer them. We meet a lot of them before we know anything about them. And so I think that's one of the things that will probably get richer throughout the season, but they maybe could have like doled them out to us a little bit more slowly.
Agree. And in fact, like, does Joe Sr. even have a wife?
Widowed father to Joe. So
Okay. But like, they don't even talk about that.
not that I
just
recall.
was like, Yeah.
No.
I don't remember. Don't remember. My final wish is, I'm embarrassed to even say it, but like, I need more of the spice. Like, give me more shirtless scenes. We do get 2 more in episode 2. Spoiler alert, but I kind of like it. Was Downton Abbey ever at times spicy?
Not any spicier than this. Like, I mean, in the
Okay.
first season, you know, a man dies in bed with
Oh, that's spicy.
Lady Mary, but they don't show. And I mean, it's PBS, it's public access television.
Yeah.
So they walk a very careful line.
I'm into it. I'm into it. That's all I have for wishes. Did you have any more?
There's a lot more details that I'm hoping for that like I said, I think a lot of the drama is fired at us in episode 1, and then we're going to untangle all of that throughout the season. But we know that Soames and Joe are rivals. Is it simply because Soames, by virtue of being the son of the second son, is in an inferior position, or is there more there?
Right. That's a great question.
Yeah.
I have some discussion questions if you want to get
Cool. Let's get into it.
Do you think you would thrive in this time period?
No.
Why?
Well, the only way in which I would thrive in this time period, and please feel free to judge me, is in a high society household, like where things are being done for me.
Got it.
That's the truth. I was not meant for an uncomfortable life. Life is so much harder. Getting around is harder. Your day is harder. There's less to do. Like, you see Soames' mom, especially in the second episode, just like sitting there with her dog while the dad's reading the newspaper. I'm like, don't you have something to do?
Yeah, especially a lady of a certain means, right? She's not cleaning or cooking. So she doesn't have anything to do.
You spend so much of your time like getting ready. You get ready for your day, and then you get ready for dinner, and then you perhaps have a visitor. You don't know. Obviously, I wouldn't have experienced life in 2026. So perhaps, I don't know. Do you think you would thrive in this time period?
No, I think that I would maybe have too many opinions about things.
Yeah.
Question things too much.
Like when
I mean, 2026, Wendy,
right?
In this time period. Yeah, I don't know.
So I tend to be a person who doesn't love to rock the boat. So when I see someone like the character of June, I find it very interesting. I'm like, oh, this is a person who knows her own mind and does not want to be told what to do. And in a time where certainly feminism was not a strong driving factor, would I have had enough of an influence to know what I know and feel like, would that be innate that I'd be like, what are you doing to me? I don't know.
Yeah. Or do you not even know better at that time? You know?
Yes. Like if your mother is telling you that this is the way it is, do you just accept it? Or, what is it that gives you that information? I don't know.
Right. If you are Frances.
Yeah, I want to talk about Frances.
How quickly are you clocking the Louisa situation at the party?
Well, my husband reaches for her hand.
Yee.
And I saw the look on his face, and I'm not his wife.
You are his wife.
My point is, I, as a viewer, saw the look on his face.
Yeah.
And I think if that were my husband, I would be even more in tune with his emotional cues.
Yeah. Okay. What do you want to talk about, Frances?
Well, I just think she's such an interesting character. And the connection we see that she has with Joe Sr. is very interesting. It's almost like they're closer.
Yes. Why didn't they get married?
Well, because Joe didn't need the station boost that Joe Jr. did.
Okay, fair.
Joe Sr. was already in a position of power. Joe
Good
Jr.
explanation. Yeah.
needed the connection of Frances in order to bring him fully up to par.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it.
And she's the power in the power couple.
Yeah.
I just think that's one to watch.
Frances? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you think they're going to make Frances our villain?
That's a great question.
Which is kind of sad. I mean, she's conniving to a extent. I mean, she is very much into like what their status is and what they've been working for, and I'm quoting working for. She's just in a not great position. She does need to protect like her marriage, I guess, but also
Well, that's a great point because she's not a Forsyte. So,
Yes.
as the wife of Julian, what does she have should the marriage fall apart? I don't know.
right. Yeah.
What is she
Yeah.
entitled to? Is she
Good
ruined
question.
if their marriage falls apart?
Good question. My last question is, we've talked about the Count of Monte Cristo and how much we like that. After one episode of this series, are you hooked or are you just intrigued?
If I had to rate the series next to each other, I would say I like The Count of Monte Cristo more. But I am hooked by this series and interested to see where it goes. Where are you landing?
They're so different.
Very much.
I'm enjoying both. Like, I love that this is in my schedule of things to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really
Who
like it.
knew?
I know.
No one's more surprised than I am.
I know.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Girls Gone Hallmark. If you enjoy this podcast, please drop into your podcast app and leave us a review. A 5-star rating is the best way to help people find this podcast, other than telling your friends. Drop them a link and let them know to give Girls Gone Hallmark a listen. And we'll be back next time with more reviews. Goodbye.
Bye.
All right, friends, before we go, just a quick heads up. You're about to hear some ads. These little gems help us keep the show running and the Hallmark love flowing. So do with that info what you will. Grab a snack, hit the skip button, or maybe, just maybe, listen in and discover your new favorite product. Bye.